Facebook, raise your hand. So pretty much everybody, kind of, sort of. Okay, well, like when you go to put a status, it says, what's on your mind? Like, I always just bypass that 'cause I'm like, I'm putting a status. I don't really care what it has to say. I just put what I want to put, right? But I remembered, I think it was P7, said it a while back. He was like, what's on your mind? You have to, like, think about it. What are you thinking about? Or, what has God put on your heart? So I titled my message, what's on your mind, ... what's on your heart? And I think those two kind of, like, go together. They, like this, because whatever is on your mind or whatever is on your heart, you're going to be thinking about it, and vice versa. So whatever's on your heart, you're going to be thinking about all the time, because whether it's a situation you dealt with, or whether it's something that just happened or something you saw or heard about, you're going to be thinking about it, and you have to process that. So I was like, just talking to God, hey, what do you want me to talk about? What should I say about this? So I literally said, God, what's on your mind and what's on your heart? And I was like, and there's like, okay, there's my message. There we go. Because for us, obviously we all have thoughts. We all have, different ways we look at things. But in order to see, to grow in our relationship with God and to see if what we're thinking and if it's right or if it's wrong or whatever it is, we have to know what's on God's mind and what's on God's heart. Because if we know what's on his heart, then we can say, you can move in that and say, okay, God, you want me to do this with that. Or you want me to, what's on your mind? What are you thinking about? Because that's what I need to be thinking about, and see how that applies to me in my life. So then, like, I don't know, like a couple nights ago, I was just, laying in bed, just thinking about, okay, what am I going to talk about? And thinking about what, just applies to that. So everybody has heard, I'm sure, the Bible verse, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind and your strength. So, you always hear, typical blah, 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 cliche thing. But obviously, the first one, with all your heart, that's from within you. From, whatever God has put on your heart with, yeah, that's pretty much it. But I got a revelation of your mind because I really didn't get what that meant. Like, love God with all your mind. Like, okay. So, to me, that was kind of like your thought life. Because whatever you're thinking, everybody's, sometimes be like, oh, she looks really pretty today. Or, oh, she needs to, like, get a new shirt or go shopping. It's either going to be good or it's going to be bad. Or it might be in between, like, you're not really sure. But when you have those thoughts, the bad thoughts, you have to replace them. And so when it says, love the Lord your God with all your mind, God says in the Bible that if we love him, we will obey him. So if we're loving him with all our mind, our thoughts are going to line up with that. And not always, because we're not perfect. We make mistakes. But generally what we're thinking, or we have to train ourselves to do it really, because it doesn't come, instantly. It's, we all have a sinful nature. But that we have to line that up with what his word says. And then what I was thinking about is the big thing in that is that our thoughts are personal. That, if you do something, like if I just went over and slapped Lena, everybody's going to see that, right? Even if, like, we were, like, somewhere, like, in a different room, nobody was there, anybody could walk in at any time, somebody could see it. But our thoughts, nobody can, like, get in our head, they can't, like, climb in through our ear. Like, it's not going to happen. They can't get in there no matter what they do. So it's a personal thing that you have to decide for yourself. I'm going to glorify God with this, and I'm going to use this even though it's just me thinking whatever I want to do. It's not going to do anything, but you have to know that in your personal time and in everything you do in secret and private, whatever, that it has to glorify God, and you have to like work towards that. And then I totally forgot what I was going to say about that. There was something that was really good. Well, what I was saying before is your thought life and your heart mirror each other, because, when you have your heart and your mind, like I said, it kind of goes hand in hand, because it's the same thing is going to be, based off each other. And when you do that, obviously, like, I wish I had like the stats of like how many minds or thoughts went through your mind each day, because there's so many, you know, like probably, I don't know, hundreds, thousands, whatever it is. But we have to clear our minds of the ungodly things and of the other things that are taking up space, so that there's room and time to think about the good things, or to think about what God's put in our mind. We have to have room, because if there's no room, and if we're so focused on, you know, what this celebrity did today, or what this person did today, or, you know, what's going on, then if you don't take the time to think about what's God doing, there's just not room for it, and there's not time if you don't make it. So, and then in this song, Indescribable by Chris Tomlin, one of my favorite lines, it says, "You see the depths of my heart and you love me the same." So to me, that's probably my favorite line in any song in the world, because, you know, whether our thoughts can be like, you can think the worst thought about every single person you ever see, and you can hate every single person, and it could just be like your heart, you just hate God, it's just black and gross. But God's still going to love you. And he's not going to be like this perfect little Christian, and then the worst person, you know, terrorist, everybody, you know, is like trying to kill. But he's going to love them equally. Like, you can't do anything. There's physically nothing you can do that's going to change God's heart. So that was really cool to me, just to see that God can, like, he's so obviously unlike us because he's perfect. So to see that God can love us when we can hate everyone else and hate him, it's like, it just blows my mind. But I think it's really cool. So, oh, and then, Megan, can you put that verse up? This is Psalms 101:2. And I'm going to just read. There's just this little beginning that I like. It says, my version says, "I will be careful to lead a blameless life." And usually I would just like bypass that, you know, just keep reading with the chapter. But I realized that it says I will be careful to do it. So it's not like it's just going to happen. You know, like obviously we're born into sin. That's just our nature. So we have to purpose and we have to choose to have a pure thought life, to have a pure heart, to, you know that that is obviously what God desires for us, because he puts that in the word. You know, he gives us that to meditate on. And so I was like, you know, that's really cool, because we have to choose that for ourselves. And like I said, the thought life is personal. So it's a choice that only we can make. You know, somebody can make you stop hitting somebody, or somebody can make you obey. They can't make you obey, but they can say, hey, guess what? You're going to get a detention, or you're going to get expelled, whatever it is. So you feel like you have to comply, or you can't do this. But with your thoughts, nobody can stop you. No one can say, don't think that, or think this way. Nobody can tell you that. They can, but that doesn't mean you're going to obey, because they can't make you, you know? And what I've realized is when you think something, the more and more you think about it, and if you process it and you're just meditating on it, you're going to believe it. You're going to start to believe it. Like yesterday, I haven't been sleeping much, just been like stuff going on, been studying, haven't been eating healthy, you know, there's candy. I'm like, oh, let's just shove it all down my throat, right? So I was thinking, oh, I don't feel good. I really don't feel good. And so I didn't feel good, which wasn't fun, but, you know, and then I stopped thinking about it, I get distracted, and I go watch TV, and then I felt fine. But then I'd remember, oh, I don't feel good, and then I'd start feeling not good. So I was like, this is stupid, because I don't know why I'm telling myself I don't feel good, because I don't want to not feel good. But you do. It's like you're telling yourself that, you know, this is going to happen, or you're going to do bad on this. And it's crazy, because why do that, you know? But it's also the flip. You know, if you're telling yourself, I'm going to ace this test, or I'm going to go bless this person today. You think about it, and you process it, and you realize, yes, that's good. That's what I want to do. So that's pretty much it. And just something to think about, you know, just like whenever, like, you're going to sleep. It's a good time. But if you're laying there bored, just think about what's on your mind. What do you think about? What goes through your head daily? And then what's on your heart and what's on God's heart? And see how it compares, and see what you should change and what you shouldn't change. So, yeah.